it's good to be here with you. Look, I need to tell you about the time I absolutely murdered my chances with someone I really liked. And it all came down to one thing: my smile. I know that sounds weird because we've all been told our whole lives that smiling makes you likable, that it shows you're friendly and approachable, and all that good stuff. But here's the thing nobody tells you: smiling too much, smiling at the wrong times, smiling when you don't actually feel it. That crap will destroy your charisma faster than you can say awkward silence. So picture this. I'm on a date with this person I'd been trying to impress for weeks. We finally got together at this little coffee shop, and I was so nervous I could feel my heart trying to escape through my chest. I thought to myself, you know what's gonna save this. If I just smile the whole time, they'll think I'm having a great time. They'll think I'm confident and happy and totally not freaking out internally. So that's exactly what I did. I smiled through the entire date. When they talked about their stressful week at work, I smiled. When they mentioned their dog died last year, I smiled. When they shared something vulnerable about their family situation, guess what? I kept that smile plastered on my face like some kind of deranged game show host. And you know what happened? The energy shifted. I could feel it in real time. They started giving me these confused looks, like they were trying to figure out if I was actually listening or if I was having some kind of medical episode. The conversation got shorter, their answers got clipped, and by the end of the date, they gave me this polite but distant goodbye that I knew meant I'd never hear from them again. I walked away thinking, what the hell just happened? I smiled the whole time. I was positive and upbeat. Why did that feel like a disaster? Now, before we go any further, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for Confident Connection Lab, because we're about to dive deep into why this happens and how to fix it. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Also, real quick, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching this from. I'm genuinely curious about where this community is spread across the world. And honestly, it helps me know I'm not just talking to myself in a dark room at 2 in the morning. Now back to my catastrophic date. It took me months to figure out what went wrong. And when I finally did, it hit me like a freight train. The problem wasn't that I smiled. The problem was that I smiled when I shouldn't have, when the moment didn't call for it, when authenticity would have served me way better. See, when someone shares something heavy or vulnerable or even just neutral, and you respond with this big artificial grin, you're essentially telling them that you're not actually present, that you're performing instead of connecting. I learned later that humans are hardwired to detect fake expressions. Our brains have evolved over thousands of years to read micro-expressions and body language because survival used to depend on knowing who we could trust. So when you smile at inappropriate moments or smile without genuine emotion behind it, people's subconscious alarm bells start ringing. They might not be able to articulate why you feel off, but they know something isn't right. They know you're not being real with them. And here's the brutal truth. A person who's trying too hard to be liked comes across as needy, uncertain, and low value. I hate using that term, but it's the perception that gets created. My constant smiling wasn't projecting confidence. It was screaming, please like me. Please think I'm great. Please don't reject me. And ironically, that desperate energy is exactly what pushes people away. That date didn't fail because I wasn't likable enough. It failed because I was so busy performing likability that I forgot to actually be a human being, having a genuine connection with another human being. After that dating disaster, I went down a rabbit hole of research because I needed to understand what the hell happened. And what I found blew my mind. Turns out there's actual behind why people can smell a fake smile from across the room. And it's way more fascinating and depressing than I expected. I'm talking about studies that show our brains have evolved specifically to detect authenticity. And when you're faking it, You're basically walking around with a giant neon sign that says, "I'm insecure and I need your approval." Let me break this down for you. There's this thing called the Duchenne smile, named after this French neurologist from the 1800s who studied facial expressions. A real Duchenne smile involves not just your mouth, but your eyes. Specifically, the orbicularis oculi muscle that creates those crow's feet, wrinkles around your eyes. You can't fake this muscle movement voluntarily. It only activates when you're genuinely happy or amused. So when you plaster on a smile that doesn't reach your eyes, people's brains pick up on that inconsistency immediately, even if they can't consciously articulate what feels off. Their subconscious is screaming, "This person is lying to me with their face." But here's where it gets really interesting. I found research that shows excessive smiling is actually associated with lower social status and less power. Think about it. Who smiles more in social interactions? The person who's trying to gain approval, or the person who already has it? The person who's nervous and seeking validation, or the person who's comfortable and confident? When you smile too much, especially in situations that don't warrant it, you're signaling submission and anxiety. You're essentially telling everyone around you that you're not secure in your position, that you need them to like you more than they need you to like them. I used to think I was being friendly and approachable with my constant smiling, but what I was actually doing was broadcasting weakness. And people respond to that energy in predictable ways. They don't respect it, they don't find it attractive, and they definitely don't find it charismatic. Charisma isn't about being the friendliest person in the room. It's about being the most authentic and grounded person in the room. It's about having emotional range, being able to be serious when the moment calls for it, being able to show frustration or disappointment or even neutrality without feeling like you need to smooth everything over with a smile. Here's another brutal truth I discovered. When you smile at everything, your smile loses its value. It's basic economics. When something is abundant, it becomes worthless. If you're giving out smiles like they're free samples at a grocery store, then when you do smile genuinely, it doesn't mean anything special. But if you're more selective, if you smile when something actually amuses you, or when you genuinely feel warm towards someone, then your smile becomes a reward, something valuable that people want to earn. This was a game changer for me because I realized I'd been devaluing my own positive expressions by using them indiscriminately. And get this, there's research showing that people who smile less are often perceived as more competent and trustworthy in professional settings. I'm not saying you should walk around scowling at everyone like some kind of cartoon villain, but there's a middle ground between being a perpetual grinning machine and being emotionally closed off. That middle ground is where charisma lives, where you're reactive and present and genuine, instead of performing some rehearsed version of friendliness that fools absolutely nobody. All right, so we've established that I was a smiling idiot, and that confirms fake smiles are charisma killers. Now let's talk about what actually works, because this is where everything changed for me. After months of experimenting, failing, and probably making things worse before they got better, I figured out the exact calibration that transforms your smile from desperate to magnetic. And it's way simpler than you think, but it requires something most people aren't willing to do: being okay with not smiling. Here's the first adjustment, and this is critical. Your default facial expression should be neutral with slight interest. Not a smile, not a frown, just relaxed presence. When you're listening to someone, let your face reflect genuine curiosity instead of forced positivity. Your eyebrows might raise slightly when they say something interesting. Your head might tilt a bit when you're processing information, but you're not grinning like an idiot waiting for your turn to talk. This neutral baseline makes your actual smiles incredibly powerful because now they mean something. When you do smile, it's a response to something genuinely funny or heartwarming. not a nervous habit you're using to fill space. The second adjustment is learning to match emotional tone. This was huge for me. If someone's telling you about something difficult or serious, your face should reflect appropriate concern or focus, not a smile. I know this seems obvious, but you'd be shocked how many of us default to smiling when we're uncomfortable, even when the situation calls for something completely different. Matching emotional tone shows you're actually present and processing what they're saying, not just waiting to perform your rehearsed friendly personality. It builds trust faster than any constant smile ever could. Here's the third adjustment, and this one's a bit counterintuitive. Smile more with your eyes than your mouth. When you do feel genuine warmth or amusement, let it show primarily through your eyes. That slight crinkle, that softness, that engagement. Your mouth can follow, but it doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. This creates what I call the earned smile, where your expression builds naturally from your eyes down, instead of being slapped on your face like a mask. People read eyes first anyway, so when your eyes are genuinely engaged, your mouth becomes almost secondary. The fourth adjustment is about timing and selectivity. Save your biggest, most enthusiastic smiles for moments that genuinely warrant them. When someone makes an actually funny joke, when you're sharing a moment of real connection, when something legitimately delights you, that's when you go all in. But for everyday interactions, for neutral conversations, for professional settings, keep it subtle and measured. This scarcity principle makes your full smile a gift rather than a given, and people subconsciously value things that aren't freely available all the time. I want to be real with you for a second. Implementing these adjustments felt terrifying at first because I was so used to hiding behind my smile. Without that constant grin, I felt exposed and vulnerable, like people would think I was unfriendly or unapproachable. But you know what actually happened? People started taking me more seriously. Conversations got deeper. Connections felt more real. My genuine smiles carried actual weight because they weren't competing with 1,000 meaningless ones. Look, if you've made it this far and this resonated with you, do yourself a favor and subscribe to Confident Connection Lab. We're building a community of people who are done with surface-level social advice and ready to develop real charisma through authentic connection. The journey from desperate smiler to magnetically charismatic person isn't always comfortable, but I promise you, it's worth every awkward moment of recalibration. Your smile is a tool, not a shield. Use it wisely, use it selectively, and watch how differently people respond to you. Trust me on this one.